In the day's other news, on this last day of September, the stock market closed out a month of stark downturns. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 546 points today to close at 33,844. The Nasdaq fell 64 points. The S&P 500 slipped 52. Overall, the S&P and the Nasdaq had their worst month since the pandemic started, down nearly 5% or more. The Dow lost more than 4% for its worst month in nearly a year. The National School Board Association sought federal help today to investigate threats over mask mandates and other pandemic measures. The group wrote to President Biden and warned that rising violence and threats are, quote, equivalent to a form of domestic terrorism and hate crimes. Meanwhile, at a U.S. Senate hearing, Health Secretary Xavier Becerra said there is plenty of precedent for COVID protective measures.
50 years ago, some people protested using seatbelts. Today we don't. We know how safe and effective they are. Same thing with vaccines, same thing with masks, same thing with social distancing, same thing with better ventilation, same thing with better hygiene. We know what works. It's common sense.
At the same hearing, Education Secretary Miguel Cardona condemned hostility against school board members. He said that in some places it has turned dangerous. The Biden administration is rolling out a more lenient approach to immigration enforcement. New guidelines will target only migrants who illegally entered the country since last November or who pose a threat to public safety. Then President Trump directed authorities to go after anyone in the country illegally. The new rules take effect November 29th. The number of suicides in the active duty U.S. military rose 15% last year to 580. The overall suicide rate rose only slightly. The figures are part of a Pentagon report released today. Officials say they did not see any influence from the COVID pandemic. U.S. senators attacked Facebook today over findings that its Instagram platform can harm teenagers' mental health. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Facebook's own research shows peer pressure on Instagram fuels eating disorders and suicidal thoughts. Today, Democrat Richard Blumenthal challenged the company's global safety chief, Antigone Davis, as she disputed those accounts.
We are looking to find ways to release more of this research. I want to be clear that this research is not a bombshell. It's not causal research. It's in fact just directional research that we use for product changes.
This research is a bombshell. It is powerful, gripping, riveting evidence that Facebook knows of the harmful effects of its site on children, and that it has concealed those facts.
Next week, the senators will hear from a Facebook whistleblower who is believed to have leaked the research. In France today, a Paris court convicted former President Nicolas Sarkozy of campaign financing violations. He was accused of spending nearly twice the legal amount on his failed re-election bid in 2012. Sarkozy is appealing an earlier conviction for corruption. Today, he was sentenced to a year of house arrest. He appealed that as well. And Korean automaker Hyundai is recalling 550,000 Hyundai and Kia vehicles in the U.S. over faulty turn signals. The company says that the signals can flash the opposite of what a driver intends. The recall includes Hyundai and midsize Sonatas and Sedona minivans made by Kia from model years 2015 to 2017. Still to come on the NewsHour, the CDC calls for urgent action to increase COVID vaccines among people who are pregnant. A massive Chinese company's financial troubles threaten an already unstable market. One African country's battle against an ISIS-affiliated insurgency, plus much more.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.